week's Love Lighthouse. And I should actually also say, and I don't know how to do this because it just doesn't make sense, the reason that we call it the Love Lighthouse is because obviously the lighthouse is symbolic of kind of finding that way in the dark. But yet there's a real importance in the dark, so I need to kind of think about renaming this, because the dark actually is symbolic of so many people, so many things, situations as well, that are actually really important in terms of empowerment for our greater good. And a lot of the spiritual groups which focus completely on light and are really quite lost in terms of their awareness of understanding of the wider picture are at a lower level, and that's why they kind of focus on that light. And I want to be able to show that we are advanced in terms of that we understand the light and the dark at a different level of awareness, and it's kind of letting go and shedding the kind of not so good aspects of something in order to see something in a way of love rather than of fear. And it's that kind of idea of being aware that the darkness is actually linked to possibility, okay, and actually all things good. In fact, the dark is also symbolic of the feminine as well, as most of you will know. And that is why for so long groups that have been linked to the dark have kind of felt oppressed, or that they haven't really had their place really kind of held, and they've often been in groups where they have been oppressed against an oppressor. So we kind of actually have to sort out as well how that all fits together, and also kind of look as well what that means for the light too, because we need to see it and envision it from an advanced place of awareness where both are important and essential. Because the rising of the dark as well could become very threatening to those who are of the light, or have this kind of vision where one must be oppressed as opposed to the other. So there's a kind of an oppressor and oppressed relationship thing going on. So that's why it's so essential to kind of bring both together. And I think that as your awareness increases, it doesn't mean to say that everybody, like for example, me doing the Love Lighthouse means that I don't understand that. But it does mean that now I'm thinking about it more as to how I want to kind of balance it out in terms of even just what that aspect of the channel is called, so that it's really kind of co-creating more abundantly and equally in terms of the light and the dark, because it does have the light in there. It does need to have the dark in there too. So I'm trying to figure out in my head how I'm going to do that, because I'm not sure if it sounds right to say at the moment to do with my awareness, if I call it like the light and dark house. That doesn't really make sense because we've never really known it in terms of that way. But then again, co-creation is all about bringing on something new, so I guess I could. But I'm going to have a think about that one. So it's all very symbolic, and this is really interesting because we are actually in a time at the moment where dark moon Lilith is in the sign of Virgo. And there's a bit of a square thing going on as well, I think, at the moment too, which is all good for foundational things. And we're approaching a full moon in the sign of Virgo, and that is drawing on the polarities between the earthly realm and the spiritual, and bringing this Piscean message down to earth, as I've been talking about and highlighting over the past few videos. But I'm going to draw on the Aquarian energy as well, and the importance of understanding that from our spiritual, in terms of how we evolve and how we kind of change our understanding, like the awareness of maybe how to kind of use a different name and title for this aspect, for example, of the video, like that kind of awareness changing, that evolutionary understanding and improvement. Well, it's kind of like with Aquarius, it's good because you can quickly change things. It's kind of if you imagine like thunder and lightning, and the lightning won't always touch down to earth, And that's quite a good thing, that it only roots down when it's ready to connect through a good conductor. And that is the power of that kind of dark side of the possibility and the energy to bring down the Piscean aspects when they're really ready to earth. And this is going to be with this time with the full moon in Virgo, so it's going to be so good. And yeah, so that's what we're approaching, and it's my birthday tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that, Monday the 2nd. And I'd already done a video on this, so I've completed a video already and put it out, but I've decided to do another one instead. I might still share the cards from that one anyway, because we actually got the number 2 card intuition coming up for my birthday for the Monday from the 2nd of March, and the Tuesday as well, because it was for the beginning of the week, the Monday and the Tuesday. So that was coming up. It was so symbolic again and so synchronistic that it came through as the number 2 card and intuition, which is completely Pisces, and again on my birthday, so really good. Anyway, we're going to do another lot of cards and we'll see how this one goes. And here we are. So at the moment we are in a time of this kind of Pluto-Uranus square as well. And that's all about innovation and change. So it's very Aquarian kind of energy, because Aquarius is linked to the Uranus energy. So it's all about innovation, new ideas, changes, doing things differently. And that's very much what I'm about just now. And have been pretty much forever. But what we are doing is we actually have a very important project, which is the vegan movement project. And we're going to be setting up a new group where vegan families can get together, because we feel, or we know, that the vegan movement is the way forward in terms of how to live your life cruelty-free and to bring the one love, to bring everybody together and to make sure that we have complete abolition. And that is only going to be possible through becoming vegan. And so therefore, this is really relevant to this type of channel, because it's all about awakening, awareness, a heightened level of understanding, evolutionary development to the edge, the leading edge. And the leading edge really is that vegan level, where you are against all forms of slavery and against complete cruelty towards animals and voiceless. And therefore that has a knock-on impact all the way up through the species boundaries. And we cannot concentrate on any human aspects until we actually look at how we treat those who are most at our mercy, and that is the animals, the ones who can't speak, who don't have a voice too. So when we live in a place where we completely understand the connection between all sentient beings, we are really living in an awareness of the stage that we are supposed to be at in this stage of evolutionary development, which is really culminating in this age of Pisces, which is to understand the connection, the soul connection of all sentient beings. And you cannot say that you understand it, or that you are an animal communicator or a lover of animals, if you're abusing animals by eating them and buying into the torture, rape and murder cycle of these animals, which is the meat and dairy industry. It is now long past that time where we all have to be at the stage where that is completely unacceptable, and laws have to come into place to support this. But we must first make sure that we are taking the lead forward by living in alignment, and the law will catch up, because everything starts off with spiritual and then the physical catches up afterwards. It's like everything in life, okay? And that's how it goes. So it's important for you to be at this level where you're actually living that before it's made a law. It will be made a law, but it has to come from you, from within. So we're gathering and encouraging all people to step back from groups in particular, and to go more into yourself, to use this spiritual energy which was coming up for the 2nd and 3rd, and really to be able to stand on your ground in terms of your life's mission, your life's path, taking this further forward for the collective, for yourself as well. You must actually, it's one of these things with ambiguity that you actually have to take a step back first of all in order to be able to do that, and then to kind of understand the wider connection and therefore live a life that way. So I encourage everybody to make sure that you're taking responsibility, particularly with families, to take responsibility for your own children and make sure that you're giving them the space which they really need to take and to become more in alignment with their own heart and soul's mission, and to make sure that they really have that spiritual anchor, which is a solid foundation in this lifetime. So we're looking for groups of people who are already vegan to join together in this group, and there'll be details below this video so that you can get in touch locally. We'll also be sharing videos as well, not so much on a global scale for Lucy, my daughter, but she will be involved in the reading aspects. So the presence aspects online, not so much, but certainly in terms of voicing and reading and things like that as well, she will be involved in. Because I think that's really up to her to kind of, you know, when she's a lot older, to kind of decide about. She still can at the moment because she can voice, but I think that for a more kind of screen length presence and like I'm doing right now, I think that that's something that she'll probably consider a lot later on in life. So we are going to have a look at this and see what comes up for the 2nd of March and the 3rd of March. Just do this. Authority. And I had actually spoken about this one. I had said, you know, that the number 2 card had come up initially in intuition, and it's all about the High Priestess. And I think that this is just as important. I had said as well that, you know, whether you're a male or female, that it's important to be able to use your intuition and to kind of take that step back. But we're getting this one this time, which I'd also said that sometimes, you know, it doesn't matter what cards you get, because often I get this one, which is the Emperor, even though I'm a female. So number 4, and it really is all about the masculine qualities of leadership. And again, you really need to harness in the feminine aspects of being able to take a step back and go into yourself spiritually in order to actually use the masculine aspect of leading from a place that is rational, logical, and be slightly less emotional in a way that you can step back and understand it. So you can kind of come back, it's quite Aquarian as well, like coming back and seeing things that way. And that is really important as well for your intuitive side as well. So they kind of feed into each other, and it's that idea of the masculine and the feminine aspects coming together and working in harmony and unison. Even though they come up and present themselves as single cards and appearing as masculine, there is that element of you know, going inward, which is that kind of feminine aspect that's required in order to take a step back from a group to be able to then come forward and lead the group, or likewise. So that's that. That's come up for the first 2 days then, and let me see what it says. Okay, so yes, so it's a sensible, rational, logical way of leading, of being, where it's not knee-jerky, you don't just act. So again, it requires, it's a number 4 card as well. To be the Emperor, you have to be balanced. Just like the Empress has to be balanced in both her male and female aspects, the Emperor has to be balanced in his female and male aspects in order to be the best type of leader. So it's not knee-jerky, it's taking a step back and being able to utilise the female aspects as well, and then to lead forward from that in a masculine way. So it's sensible approaches and that kind of individual authority. So that's really good. That's going to be for my birthday. Really lovely energy as well. And since I initially got the High Priestess energy of intuition, I think that's a really kind of nice grounded way as well to also have this card too. So we're looking for the middle of the week then, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Or Wednesday, Thursday. And we've got number 1. And it's triumphant success. Okay, so that is the middle of the week. So I think that this makes sense. Having utilised both of the energies equally, the dark and the light, and, you know, having that good grounding has really been a positive way to take forward whatever it is, whether it's a message, the way that you're living your life, and particularly for the vegan movement, I think. The vegan movement is leading something huge. It's at the forefront of evolution, but it has to come from a place that is really balanced in order to be effective. And although we can go from one extreme to another, which can create a type of balance in between the polarization of everything in order, you know, and I mean purely from a kind of spiritual to like discussion stage, that's fine. But when it comes to actual, you know, physical action and the way that we live our lives, it has to be really rooted and grounded with the two energies coming together. So the physical aspects of it have to be fair, just, and, you know, really kind of thought of and considered. And I think that that's the beauty of being able to kind of, you know, use things and before you kind of ground them down, which is really going to be strong, as I say. By the time we get towards the end of the week, this looks really good, coming into that kind of Virgo energy where we ground down all the Piscean spiritual energy. It has to be done, and it will be done effectively and really powerfully for this triumphant success when you do so in a very mindful way. So that's going to lead, that kind of Emperor stable sort of energy between the masculine and feminine for the beginning of the week leads to this triumphant success. A lot of people, let's check this. Oh, okay, got 1 minute. A lot of people in the vegan movement are trying different kind of tactics right now, from sort of spiritual to discussion type. But as I say, when we really kind of look at it in terms of the success that we're trying to gain for everybody, it has to come through that balance that we saw from the first card. So that's it. I mean, it doesn't mean say as well, I mean, with the Emperor card, this has to be kind of understood too. This doesn't mean to say that you just kind of are passive and you let things happen. That is not what it's all about either. Very masculine, strong inner core as well through your Piscean, which gives you the strength. If you don't have the Piscean feminine aspect, you will be flailing about and not knowing what to do, and that's when, you know, but that spirituality gives you that grounding in through your masculine form as well, through your physicality. And so it's not just accepting everything. There's points where you have to say no. And that's what we do in terms of the fact that we say no to, for example, the system that promotes slavery and the continuation or the perpetuation of the old system which abuses animals. So we say no to that, And we say no to people that are non-vegan and sharing our time and space, because that's our right to live cruelty-free lives and to have our space protected in positivity and for our good as well as the greater good. So there are kind of aspects as well where you have to kind of be strong and, you know, and state your boundaries too. That is all part of the masculine energy as well, and that balanced energy. But it certainly isn't knee-jerky. You're not going to kind of like go out and do anything crazy. That won't bring triumphant success. It's about doing things in a balanced way that are fair for all. Are really grounded in the spiritual energy, which cannot be underestimated as to how powerful the spiritual energy is to bring through for the physical masculine energy of that Virgo that we are coming into. So it's like a Pisces Virgo, it's like that feminine to masculine energy now, and bringing it all together. I'm really looking forward to that, especially towards the end of the week. So let's see what the end of the week then is. Just to highlight as well before we continue on, triumphant success is also like a time of beginnings as well, new beginnings and exciting challenges maybe before you. And it's just kind of like remembering there's a potential for you to reign triumphant in many areas of your life. Okay, and it is that double-edged sword. It's about using things in that kind of balanced way as well, and using positive thoughts and kind of balancing your positive and negative to kind of bring strength as well through your mental clarity too, in order to take control and initiate new ways of thinking and obviously then therefore being. So we're going to look now for the end of the week. So this one is going to be for Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday, the end of the week, the weekend anyway. And let me just check as well. So we're looking at the kind of the 7th to the 8th, 6th, 7th, 8th of the week. It's going to be flicking backwards and forwards through this one to this one. Okay, let's choose this one. Yeah, tell me to choose this one. For the weekend, the energy that is coming up is number 4, and it's rest and rejuvenate. And I think that's really good as well. And if you can have a look at the energy surrounding, it's all green. So it's very heart chakra, which is actually the kind of energy that we are starting the week with, a very heart aligned energy from the Leo, which the moon will be in Leo at the beginning of the week for my birthday. Leo is actually my north node, it's my destiny, so it feels like everything's going to be coming into play on my birthday, so it's really good this year in particular. So by the end of the week though, it's still highlighting back to this kind of getting into your kind of heart, but also that kind of it's actually all of the energies when you think about it. I'm saying it's that kind of meditative state. That's why I'm kind of reaching there. So I'm thinking of the Pisces. And it's also equating because you're taking a step back. And it is also very kind of Virgo because it's with the earth. It's very kind of, I wouldn't say that this, towards the end of last week it was very Capricornian. But I would say that this gives strength to the Capricornian energy as the year of the goat. But this is what kind of fuels this. You do need this time to be able to feel that and actually take that kind of rest period as well. So that's really good. That'll be very good towards the end of the week. I probably need to rest after all the partying. I'm just joking. It's not me. Well, mate, but yeah. I think I don't see myself partying all the week, but you never know. Rest and rejuvenate. So what does it say then? I think it's really, when you see it, it looks like it's you're outdoors and things, And I think that's important to ground down the energy as well. And also to gain further clarity, because if you think that you're having meditative time and you're actually utilising your spiritual side by taking time away, like quite often I'll go and I'll take time on my own, but if I've got things like, you know, electronic devices around or anything else that's very kind of Aquarian, where all the kind of intellectual, you know, kind of scientific kind of energy is all floating around and questioning, that's not really reaching past the boundaries of where you really need to be to get right through and break through to a really clear meditative state for the Piscean energy, to get right above that, all of that. And it's actually really interesting that it takes the opposite energy, the Virgo energy, to take your place in nature, to be able to connect all your chakra points up and to make the best use of the Piscean energy. So it takes both of those elements together to make full use of each other, and that's what all this is really kind of going to be signifying and symbolising this year. So I think that this year in particular, although this is for this week, I think that this is really kind of bringing through the importance of being outdoors as well and finding meditative space outdoors. That is what the big message is there in particular for the end of the week, and hopefully that's going to be seeing us through onwards. And of course it depends where you are in the world, of course, to what time of year it is where you are. But for us in the northern hemisphere, it's going to start being, again today it's quite sunny, so it's going to start being kind of sunnier. But that never, you know, the weather never really stops from making the environment outdoors a really good place to have that kind of connection to the divine and to cultivate it. So no matter what the weather is, it's always a good time to be outdoors in it. And I think as well, like it's like guiding me to say about some people that might be indoors as well. I think that cultivating this type of energy, if you have been like indoors quite a lot, even like finding pictures or drawing pictures, being creative with it about the outdoors is a really good idea as well, to draw that back in somehow if you haven't been able to be outside. But then actually to kind of bring up your spirit to a point of being ready to be outdoors, because a lot of people have been in hibernation, and that's just natural. That is just natural. That's a part of this time of the year, and it has been extra cold for us over where we are in Scotland. So I think that again kind of helped to like get it all flowing, the juices flowing, and to be thinking about, you know, getting outdoors and harnessing in that, because that's definitely a good one that's called for, certainly by the end of the week. And as I say, that's activating what is really important for this entire year, to be able to make best use of what's really been called for this year and to harness in this Piscean energy, which will give you that awareness and strength in order to be vegan and take your vegan movement forward in your own life, which all beings need to do for the benefit of all beings. Okay, and that really starts with us as the humans thinking about this as being at such a level where, you know, animals really are at our mercy. So we need to be very responsible and sensible in terms of how we live our lives, and that has a great impact for ourselves first and foremost. And it also, that's a great thing, but it also kind of has an impact on every other sentient being as well as the environment too. So it's good for the environment as well, and of course then that therefore nurtures us. So it's one big good cycle. So that's excellent. And what else does it say for this? It says this card implies that a period of rest, meditation, rejuvenation and recuperation is in order, and it usually comes forward when you're encountering or coming out of a particularly emotional or mentally taxing experience. And the number 4 in numerology means foundation, so we've had that quite a lot, and it's that importance of the balance of the energies. So that's good to see that it's gone from 4 to 1 to 4 again. Okay, and I think these are really interesting numbers as well, numerological wise, because not only is it highlighting balance and stability, but it's also showing that that's what brings the win for the collective, for all, through the one, through each of us, and having that balance between the spiritual to the earthly realm, and all of the masculine and feminine aspects within us as well, to take things forward in such a mature and stable way. So the number 4 again, so it's just saying allow time and space for your reflection, which is long overdue, and reposing and taking moments for yourself. And yeah, and it's just going to encourage more kind of strength and health as well, which is also connected to the Virgo energy. And thinking about our health and how that allows us to take our spiritual divine mission forward through the vehicle that is our physical body. So it's looking at all aspects of ourselves holistically. The physical body obviously allows us to take through our spiritual mission, but all aspects are completely in sync. You can't really separate one from the other. So when something physical happens to you, it's because it's connected to something mental, emotional, spiritual. And when something happens to you at a spiritual level, that's your if you manage to stop it there, that's your level of, it means that you're really at a high level in terms of your awareness, that you can stop it from actually coming further down and filtering through into your physical. So so people that tend to get kind of physical things, there's one kind of area that they are blocking and that they need to kind of look at, and that's just what that means. So the Virgo energy is going to be really important for getting outside and bringing down that spiritual, but connecting all the elements together and making sure that they are functioning fully through. And when all kind of chakra points, in other words, all aspects of our being, our spiritual to our physical, are working in tandem and there aren't any blocks, that's when we can really kind of take things through powerfully with a healthy approach and a balanced approach. So that's really good. That sounds excellent for the end of this week as well. And I think that it really will kind of be about us thinking about how we're nurturing ourselves, not just in terms of thoughts that we consume, but also what's on our plate. And again, that is all linked to veganism. And I cannot stress this enough, the importance of veganism and how it is linked to every single aspect of your being, from your spiritual, mental, emotional to your physical, and the connection for the wider and the entire collective, for all of us through that Piscean awareness, and it just is so important. So with that, thank you very much, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Sounds a really, really good, solid, foundational week. I'm really pleased to be able to give you this wonderful video as a result, and I hope you thoroughly enjoy. Also, at the end of the week, whilst you are outdoors in nature, when you come back in, do remember to get a hold of our delicious vegan delights for fluffy friends, which helps you transition your fluffy beings into a vegan diet. It's got lots of different, not a vegan diet, I shouldn't say that, a vegan lifestyle, which is cruelty-free lifestyle, because ultimately, if all beings can have this cruelty-free lifestyle, it not only impacts all the other animals and beings that you don't see, but it impacts the animals that you do see in such a kind of positive way. So it's about trying different things. There are lots of different ideas there, and I'm still trying different ideas as well. So no doubt I'll be updating the book as I go as well. So that's out too, so you can go and get that. And the launch date is the 8th, which is also the cat's birthday celebration as well. So from the beginning of the week, it's my birthday celebration, and by the end of the week there, it's the cat celebration for their birthday, and also the launch date, and it's on the 2-4 cards, isn't it? So this is going to be really great, and it's going to really bring in that balance again for all sentient beings. It's just wonderful how symbolic this really is, isn't it? When you think again, the beginning of the week is going to be celebrating all of us together through this Piscean energy, through my birthday, and by the end of the week's that dedication commitment there with our cats and with them, having the book launch. It's so sweet to think that they have got their own book launch, their birthday celebration as well, which is highlighting this link between the human and all other sentient beings, the voiceless, the animals of the world, so all of us together. This is going to be a wonderful week. It really is, for all sentient beings, for veganism in particular. The symbology there, the symbolic awareness, the synchronicity is so spot on, and it is just going to be amazing. So thank you very much for watching and listening. I hope you've thoroughly enjoyed it as much as I have enjoyed making it, and I will speak to you next week. Have a great one.